Jake Lloyd Bacon, I have a great idea for next year's Royal Rumble.
What's your idea, Scott Narver?
Okay, with Survivor Series, they've now combined it with Survivor Series and War Games and call it Survivor Series War Games.
Yeah, it's super successful. You love it. It's your favorite pay-per-view.
Obviously. So, the Royal Rumble has a men's Royal Rumble match with 30 competitors and the women's Royal Rumble match with 30 competitors.
Yes.
That's 60 total.
Oh, no.
That's WCW's World War III, 60 competitors.
Oh, you made me watch that for a watch along. It's so bad.
Next year, WWE Royal Rumble, World War III.
Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Hello to everybody joining us live via the super exclusive patron-only live stream. We're here with the Palskis. You can only get access to that live stream at patreon.com/pwpalskis.
Yeah, suck on that, Vimeo.
Yeah. With your high costs for video hosting.
No.
Vimeo's dead to me.
Oh shit! How much does it cost?
It's so much money.
Was it a month?
Yeah, I think so.
So they do a month. How much a month?
I don't know. I stopped using them years ago.
Is it per video?
It's a gigs. It's gig based.
Oh, like how many gigs did you get in a year?
Yeah. And I didn't work enough, so I didn't have enough gigs.
Fuck you,
Yeah.
Vimeo.
Yeah. There's like a little hair hanging from my hat. See that? Whoa,
that's
I got a
little forehead.
Little piece of Alexandra. Comes with me everywhere. Off of this lovely PWP hat available now in the shop at dragonwagonshop.com.
So if you want to clone your own Alexandra, order the hat. You'll get some hairs. Go to your local cloning station, and you too can have your own episodes of Me, You 30, and Other Men.
There we go. I'm going to ask the chat. I see we got Mike Lucas. We got Mickey Bell, some familiar names in the chat.
All the M's. We got the M&M's.
I'm going to ask the chat how the stream is at the moment because I got a little notification that says that, the bit rate's lower than recommended.
Oh, no. First your gigs, now your bits?
Yeah. We got gigs. We got bits. We're just failing all over the place.
Oh, your gigs, bits. Hopefully the stream is strong. Hopefully we can stream straight to your face strong. I'm sorry. I'm wearing this Brock Lesnar shirt and it's influencing me.
Mike Lucas's stream is good. You know what else is good, Scott Narver?
What's that?
The PWP Championship. Current PWP champion Alex Pierce
for now
will defend that title later today.
Could he retain?
He could retain.
He lose? Could he tie? Could we have a...
I suppose if I accidentally pulled... I'm going to make you do it again. Suppose if you accidentally pulled two names out of the jar, then technically there could be a tie.
Or I lose a finger.
Or... then
Saudi rules.
No, it really doesn't.
Then explain all these posters on this other side of this wall. God, there's so many. If I could turn the camera around, it is. It's egregious.
Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of technology.
No.
Last night was ye old Royal Rumble.
Yes, indeed. 2025.
How was your viewing experience before we talk about the specifics of the Rumble?
I had a good old time. Drove up to Los Angeles with a bevy of snacks.
I've been there.
Saw it with friend of the show, Mark Warzeka, and another friend.
I like Mark. Mark's a nice guy.
A comedian, Ithamar Enriquez.
Okay, I know the name.
Very good dude.
Never met him, but familiar.
Delightful chap. And another friend, writing partner of Mark, showed up at the last half of the Royal Rumble. But
late entry.
Yeah, very late entry. We had a good old time. Just jokes, tons of food. Great old time.
What kind of snacks did you have? You said you had a bevy of snacks.
Oh man, we had pizza. Not my favorite, but
it's
it
not
was
a snack. That's an item.
I'm
That's
starting.
An
I'm starting.
But
the pizza was out there right away.
Got it.
And I was like, this isn't my system of how I do this.
Okay.
So there was pizza. There was a pepperoni and cheese. There was some chocolate bite thing that had already solidified and it was not a hot brownie cookie item, whatever it is. It's just a little brown
biscuit, little baked good.
I guess I had it. I mean, I had it and I was like, this thing's gross. I don't know what it was supposed to be.
Whoa! I did a dumb thing. Sorry, everybody.
There was cheese bread.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Which is cheese pizza.
Yeah,
but in different form.
Cheese bread it's just pizza without sauce.
I had no say in the pizza ordering.
All right.
There were sodas. There were beers. Those I can't describe. I didn't pay attention. I know there was no real American beer, so I guess there wasn't beer.
Pretty soon that'll be the only beer.
Darn right. And then chips galore. We had Doritos Cool Ranch. We had Doritos Nacho Cheese. We had Miss Vicky's barbecue. We had what is the Ruffles cheddar sour cream, I think it is.
Okay, sounds like a thing I've seen in the store.
Grapes. Bring grapes because Mark's daughter. I brought him one time as just a fun option, and then his daughter is like, "Bring the guy back who brought grapes."
That's the only reason you got invited.
Yeah. I brought ice cream, strawberry and vanilla.
You know,
because I think the long
I'm
haul
gonna give
here,
you kudos. I gotta give you kudos. Nobody brings fucking ice cream when that is.
I bring dessert
A+
every time.
There's been a few times where I have gone, like, I think maybe it was last year's Rumble when I went to my cousin Paulie's.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I was like, oh, I'm going to stop and grab like a dessert item.
Yeah.
Because you always think of all the salty shit. And there's going to be 75 bags of chips.
And it's 4 hours long.
I know. And I think we stopped and grabbed. And I remember just like the shock and awe.
You have to think of the night.
Yeah.
You have to think of its courses. It's I've never been, but it's like Italian dining. Like you got to think of like the next course and the next course. So yeah, I'm always a dessert guy. And depending on the season, like maybe it'll be ice cream, maybe it'll be like fudgesicles or something.
Pumpkin pie, certain type of year.
Yeah, I brought cake before.
That sounds like an A+ guest work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds fun.
Your dog is doing ridiculous things with the blanket.
He's just getting buried under the blanket on the couch. But my favorite is when I wish I could turn the camera around.
Can't.
My favorite is he always stalls in the beginning. He starts to put his head under the blanket, right? And he does this. And then he stops when he realizes he's being watched. So for just a moment there, he's like a little Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know? Just like this.
He says, hello there.
And then he goes like, I'm going to go back to this, okay? Okay, cool, thanks. And then he goes back to it. He's so dang cute. Well, that's great. Now I'm going to be the buzzkill. I had kind of a lame Rumble because...
Just a bunch of yogurt?
Alexandra generally is always... If there's nobody else around, there's no friend stuff, and obviously, like I used to watch him all the time with Paul Bianchi, my best mate. He now doesn't even live in the country anymore.
Yeah, that's one way to get out of it.
All these different people that I kind of used to watch stuff with, but they're not around anymore.
Sure.
At least Alexandra.
Didn't that say something?
At least Alexandra and I always used to watch together. And Alexandra had like she had like 2 work calls. She worked all day and then had 2 work calls right in the middle of the show and had to prep for those calls and then debrief after those calls. So she did, by the time literally like it was over and she was like, all right, I'm done with work.
This is all, hey, do you want to go out? I'm washing my hair.
No, she was legitimately bummed. And I was
keep washing my hair.
Probably the first Royal Rumble in maybe like fucking 15 years that I watched by myself.
You didn't have to watch it live.
But you know what? I wanted to because of the Discord. And I was like, well, I don't want shit to be spoiled to me in the Discord, which it will be inevitably.
Right.
I don't want to have to avoid the Discord for our own program.
Right. I did that.
It's very, and honestly, I do think part of it was like, well, if I am going to watch it alone, like, well, it's nice to at least have, you know, and it was a fun place to be, by the way. If you're not in our Discord, come on, get on it.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
It's free.
Jake would be there. With that said, I did enjoy the Rumble.
Yeah.
So like it would have been one
Rumbles.
No, but the show was called the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And I'm using the
they should pluralize all their shows. Should be Wrestlemanias. Because there's 2 nights.
Judgment's Day.
And that's not a show anymore. That's a group.
Backlashes.
Yeah.
Or Lashes Legend.
Backlash Eye.
What else do they have? Breaking's Grounds.
No, that's not a show anymore. Or NXT shows don't count.
Stand and Deliverance.
What I just say.
I can't think of any other shows.
Ned Beatty won't go, so I don't count it.
But anyways, it was a good show.
So did you have any snacks?
I don't think I did. I
think you did.
I took the opportunity. I took the opportunity to since she wasn't joining me that whole morning. I was like, well, I'm just gonna do some work around the house, and I did some work on tried to troubleshoot this weird thing that's happening on our stream, which viewers can probably see.
Yeah, it's the glare from the Saudi
I
posters.
don't know what's happening. It's a weird thing that's occurring, and I can't fix it. But yeah, no, I was doing some stuff around the house, and then like once it started, I kind of just sat down, watched it. Honestly, I really think that I kind of just ate like dinner halfway through it. There was no snackitude.
What was the dinner?
I just had some
What'd you
pasta.
get?
I made myself some. Well, I didn't make it. Alexandra made some pasta in between her calls very abruptly, and then went right back to
Short
work.
noodle, long noodle? Sauce?
Short noodle with like a spicy sauce. It's pretty good.
Oh, you did spice? Look at
I
you.
don't dislike spice. I just don't like spice that's not pleasant. I don't like it when it tips to the being like painful.
Which could be mild for you, I feel.
So we've figured out that it has to do with the type of spice. Like a chipotle can be, there's a specific type of spice where my threshold is greater for what becomes pain.
Have you had a ghost pepper?
I don't think I've had. I mean, there might have been
I
ghost
think you'd
peppers
like
in a
them.
thing.
They're a little spooky.
Yeah, just a little Halloween pepper.
Yeah, like Scooby-Doo would have ghost peppers. Just think of it like that.
Can I tell you, every time we watch Hot Ones, occasionally we'll go on like a little kick where like we won't watch it for like 7 months and like, oh, let's watch like 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
And every single time Alexander's like, oh, this would kill you. This would kill you. This would kill you. I was like, no.
She's planning your death.
She would be like, you would tap out. And I'm like, no, I would do it. I would be miserable, but I would do it. We had the last dab game, and I did it. There's a video of me doing it online. It was fine.
Okay.
It was just gross and not pleasant. But I wasn't like
the bomb would probably
kill me.
Yeah, everyone. It's good. It's a large consensus if that one's terrible.
Mickey Bell in the chat. Papa John's pizzas was ordered. We won't hold it against him.
Oh no.
Crisps or chips for y'all, and Belgian triple chocolate chip cookies. That's pretty great. Mike Lucas, sliders and mozzarella sticks from White Castle.
Okay.
White Castle. That's a bold choice.
So is Papa John's, because that's not pizza.
No,
that's also cheese bread.
They actually can't legally call it pizza in America. It's called Italian dish.
I think you can only say the shakaroni is pizza.
Shakaroni. I don't think I've ever had a White Castle.
I have.
I have ever had White Castle
It's
my
not
entire
bad.
life.
I think it does qualify better under the it's 2 a.m.
Right.
Let's go. This is open. This is great.
Right.
Like what I consider Del Taco to be, but you're like, no, that's dinner.
I like Del Taco.
I know you do.
I consider that to be like Jack in the Box.
But I look at places that are open 24 hours to go. You go there when nothing else is open.
Because it's open 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, anyways, let's get into the actual Royal Rumble. We've only been talking. It's only been 15 minutes. We haven't said a goddamn single thing about this fucking wrestling.
That's fine. They only got 4 matches
on our wrestling show. We open with the Men's Royal Rumble.
What?
The Men's Royal Rumble.
Do we?
Do we not?
Do you think the show?
Oh no, Women's Royal
Men's
Rumble.
Royal
Women's
Rumble?
Royal Rumble. Sorry, I forgot to do it. Women's Royal Rumble.
No,
I was calling it the Men's Royal Rumble because I assumed Becky was going to be in it.
No, that's silly.
The Women's Royal Rumble.
So as I said last year for this, I had said in 2024, I think we're about 2 to 3 years out of it being a bunch of contenders in place and making it pretty exciting of who's gonna win.
Right. Which is sort of like what the men's was this year. It was very much like, holy shit, this could go so many ways. Whereas like, yeah, it's usually 3 people.
Yes.
Right.
It's your returns from injuries.
Right.
Or storylines already in place. What happened with this one, which was very unusual going into this Saturday night's main event, previous shows, like everything, just all the stories kind of wrapped up.
Right. It did feel
Raw
like
on Netflix.
There's a reset button on the women's division
and the men's, like Roman and Solo ended.
Yeah. Right. No, you're right.
There Seth and Punk had ended.
Right.
There were a lot of things that they just went.
The titles were still kind of in those, like, we're still telling stories with titles, which makes it a little bit more predictable in that sense. But yeah.
But it wasn't, because all the title contenders had lost.
Right.
Sure. It was over, and it was a clean slate, and there was no obvious, well, these guys have got to fight again or something, or they've been building this one person for a while. It was kind of neutral, and as it was with the women's. And I still think the women's one is about another year or 2 out from having what the men's landscape was of, oh shit, I don't know who's going to win.
Right.
It felt like there's a couple, and it's most likely this.
Yeah, I don't think I did not fill out my game sheet that we make all those years because again, watched it by myself. But if I did, I usually give, like, you can pick 5 winners and you get like 5 points for your first choice, and then and I generally feel like I would have struggled to come up with with the 5th name this year.
Right.
It would have been like, yeah, I think it's gonna be
BFAB.
What is it?
BFAB.
BFAB. Or Lash. Lash.
B-Lash?
B-Lash. Lash.
That's Bobby Lashley.
Lash Bay.
And a company that won't pay for his name.
Right.
You B-Lash.
But I will say this, though.
Okay.
You're right. And I agree where it didn't feel like there were a lot of winner contenders. It did feel, though. What?
Winner contenders?
Contenders for winning. Yeah, winning. Yeah, winners.
Winner contenders.
Yeah.
I love the Oscars when I watch all the winner contenders show up on the carpet that's redly.
You know, I don't have to take this.
Yeah, you do.
I can shut this all shit down. But I even forgot what I was fucking saying. What was my point?
The winner contenders.
God damn it. Oh, I know what I was saying, you dumb fuck.
It's looking in the mirror, folks.
I got my little bear claw scratch. I got scratched to death. I always need something to play with. While there were not a lot of contenders to win it, I did feel like there equally so was a ton of talent that showed how much they are investing in the division.
Yes.
Whereas it wasn't oh, here's the 15 women that work for us. And here's 15 women that are like people coming back, that are old legends coming back, that are other companies, that are one-offs, that are a fun surprise. It did not feel like there was a lot of filler. And even the surprises felt like this is what a Rumble is. Whereas
this is a contender surprise.
Or like this is a thing that you expect from a Rumble, where it's like, yeah, like, for example, I didn't think there was in a million years that Nikki would win the thing. But like, that's not out of the realm of what the men have been doing for years, where it's like, oh, here's like a legend from yesteryear who comes back.
She's got court costs.
Sure. Yeah.
That's how I read that one. Like,
by the way, Mickey Bell agrees. Winners contenders for the win. But
there was also,
I don't know, it was nice to see.
What was lacking was three come to mind. As you said, Becky Lynch, Jade Cargill, Asuka. 3
omissions.
Definite would have been contenders, would have been changing the landscape of it, all out with injuries.
Yeah.
So there could be a couple more that don't come to mind, but that was big. And while there's
Lacey
a lot.
Evans.
Yeah. Well, she's taking care of that baby. Ric Flair's baby. There's a lot that are in the process of, right? Like we can look at this list, like Chelsea Green.
Right.
Is in the process of like
she was
being
a highlight of it as well.
Certainly.
For me. Yeah.
Lia Valkyria. They're putting a lot into her.
Yes. Still need to change her name. But yes.
Let me see who else pops out here.
I mean, did you have a specific standout? Because I have one that maybe falls in this criteria, even though it's brand new, just the presentation.
I think Charlotte Flair did pretty good.
No, it was weird. I feel like I've seen her before, but I couldn't quite recognize her.
I like the new face.
She looked a lot like Medusa when she was younger.
Oh,
like
Alundra Blaze?
Yeah, she looks like Alundra Blaze to me now. But anyways, I think that Jordan Grace probably was the most exciting thing for me.
She's got Charlotte beat on that.
But she also just like, I don't know, like I was the most interested in her by kind of a mile from anybody else in the company. I was the most excited.
You're engaged.
I thought she had a great look. I thought like the other thing that I noticed in this, and I mentioned it in the Discord, I think Suicide agreed with me on this, and that was I think the women have a huge gear problem right now in modern wrestling. I feel like all the women are in the exact same gear. It's all like a lot of straps, generally something that's asymmetrical, tons of textures, and nothing that like if I was a character designer or like a costume or like a wardrobe for a movie or a video game or whatever, like I would say like, oh, this doesn't create like a silhouette or it doesn't create like something that's instantly recognizable. All of the women kind of blend together in the ring.
Okay.
And even in that regards, Jordan Grace stood out. I like that she had very simple gear. The color palette was like no other colors that were in the rest of the
budget,
ring.
You know?
But I don't know. I really feel like Jordan Grace was probably like the most exciting part of it for me. Like she made the biggest impact in me. No pun intended.
Right.
But I do think though, watching that Rumble, man, like there, I don't know what the fix is other than maybe just to scale back and simplify. But the women's gear, it's like so many of these women, you can't recognize them when they're in the ring. I legitimately have to wait for a commentary to say who it is getting knocked off the apron when it's like, when there's a bunch of fast motion. Obviously, if it's just like, here's their face, you can see their face. But
I think Lyra Valkyria's gear almost really stood out. She was going to be uniquely different than everybody else.
She almost stood out from her gear.
Yeah.
But no, that's a perfect example of like that gear is like, it's all forgettable. Like I can't picture any of these people in my head.
That's why she's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. I did like, despite the fact that I still think it's the same problem that Bianca Belair came out with the Zack Ryder with the one full tight. Right? She had one full leg and then a brief on the other side.
I don't pay attention to the gear that much, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it, to me, it's like,
you want more Saudi outfits?
Part of a, oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Just like head to toe.
Honestly, that wouldn't be bad for another person. Piper Niven like stood out because her gear looks completely different than everybody else in a way that's like, it's a character. It's a superhero. Like you want to be able, if I told you to picture fucking Spider-Man in your head, you know exactly what it looks like.
Piper Niven.
Just like Piper Niven.
But
actually, Piper
it's really hard to swing because Piper doesn't move her arms. So
Piper Niven used to actually kind of Spider-Man when she had like the spider webby kind of things on her legs. So, but I don't know if this is making any sense. If anybody fucking agrees with me, maybe I'm just talking into fucking nobody. But I don't know. I feel like the women's gear is all very the same. It's all this amalgamous shapes and textures and straps and bows and.
I don't know. I certainly took notice of someone backstage telling Zoe Stark, "Hey, you got something on your face, like right here," as she was enjoying some chocolate fondue. And they're like, "Oh, where? Here?"
So
no. Like in the middle, like, "Oh, is it here?" No, one more. Is it here? Also, oh, you're good.
Also, if your name is the Sniper, what does that have? Like, lean into a gimmick of some sort. Why does it look like you lost a fight with Wolverine across your face?
Because somebody came out later with some face makeup on that was like, well, there you go. That's all right. That looks pretty good. But I don't know what Zoe Stark did there.
Yeah, that was odd. I do respect Liv Morgan having booby tassels. I'm surprised they allowed that to happen.
I didn't notice that.
She had fucking booby tassels. She never made him spin, which I thought was a missed opportunity.
Oh,
just it goes to show you can take the girl out of New Jersey, but you can't take the New Jersey out of the girl.
Oh.
But I don't know. The Women's Rumble to me was fun. I think that it started really clunky, which I felt like I've said before. Like I felt like they had too many planned spots that everybody got out of the way for.
Sure.
And I felt like kind of business picked up towards the end when some of the heavy hitters came out. And like, you know, again, like I feel like Jordan Grace really shot a bunch of electricity into that.
I think Lash Legend shot electricity into the whole thing because it was, for a while it was, look, everyone's the same height. This is adorable. And Chelsea was fun and energetic, but
yeah, Chelsea was there for.
But Lash Legend coming out, it's, oh my God, look at this giant woman. She's huge. When she was running, they show the camera shot of her like running above the crowd. And she looked ginormous. And then gets in the ring like, holy shit, I was so excited. Right. Like she's going to tear everybody apart. And maybe to your point, gear in a different sense, her gears slowed down kind of quick. It was, boom, boom.
Right.
And are we tired? Uh-oh.
So this is my first time really seeing her.
Same.
And God, what a look.
Yeah.
She is striking. Like
Absolutely.
There's some people who it's like, that's the only word to use.
That's
it's
the it factor.
That is it. She is striking. And like the sort of person that when there is a ring full of people, that's going to be the person you're looking at. But the second she started wrestling, I started going, oh, okay, we still need a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was really clink. I mean, she botched like her first spot, like where she was trying to pick someone up and swing. And then poor
It wasn't
Io,
the first thing. It was when they started doing moves.
But Io like got in and was like, you're supposed to hit me, but you're not. No, I'm just, and then she didn't sell. It was just a lot of.
That's been a lot of women in Rumbles.
And that's
my favorite was Zaya Lee that was the worst ever that I've seen of like, I'm going to do these 6 things.
Right.
To who?
Right.
Bailey had something with somebody where it was the same thing, like we're gonna do this and grabbing, and sometimes when it's, I'm looking at like a Liv Morgan right in the ring who's starting at number 1 or number 2 here.
Number 1,
number 2.
Oh, number 2. You're right.
Io Sky was number 1. I'm looking at a list. I don't remember all this. And when you've got like I'm trying to see if I can actually remember someone. Maybe it was Jada Parker at 16. But once you start to get at 16, 20, someone coming in and going like, all right, I'm going to do these 4 spots. I'm going to do it to you and you and you. And if you're saying it to a Liv Morgan's like, I'm going to already be in there for fucking 40 minutes.
Right.
You expect me to remember that I'm going to be there for your fucking thing?
Totally.
Pick somebody else.
Right.
Leave me alone. So when they do that, when they go and try and get the early entries and go, I'm going to do my moment now. Like, No, do it to somebody who's just been in there.
It also just there was a lot of this, and again, I've complained about this for a while. I think it's because women are just nicer people and men don't care about each other's well-beings. But there is just a lot of that, like in a multi-women match, where it does feel like everybody's getting ready all the time. Where it's that like, okay, all right, we're doing this. Okay, we're doing this, and everybody's set, and then okay, ready, go. Where there's a lack of like immediacy to and this isn't, I know this is a blanket statement. This is not everybody, by the way. This is just like a broad statement that covers
geez, First Impact.
A broad statement. But I totally get what you're saying. And I do think that's part of it. It's not just about going after the person who's there, but it's also about like, does it make sense in the moment when you get there and you walk past 7 women who aren't doing anything because that's who you have the spot with.
And this is men's and women's Rumble.
Oh, there was a spot in the men's Rumble that drove me fucking mad.
Well, I just don't like it when everyone stops and they become fans in a sense to go like, who's coming up?
Well, that's the moment. And we'll talk about that.
Like, strangle, choke, grab.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. But
I also thought, I was stunned by the reaction for Alexa Bliss. Cause I thought, when she came out, I was surprised and like, oh, this is cool. This is shocking. There were rumors of her coming back, and the ovation, like the amount of love that people had, far exceeded what I would have thought it would have been. Like if you're having me do the overseas gauge of the sound-o-meter, I'd be like, oh, okay, it's like here. Holy shit!
This is how I know you worked on a cruise ship, because you know this motion.
That's right.
But I think that, and this isn't to take anything away from her.
Yeah,
but I think she does get some of the like, you were connected to Bray and we love Miss Bray love. There's a little bit of,
she had the doll.
But she also on her jacket, it said Fiend Forever, and she turned around and that got a big pop as well.
Oh, someone put a sign on her back and she didn't know it.
Yeah.
Stop. I'm trying to be me.
But I do think, and again, this isn't to take anything away. That wasn't I love her, but
you didn't see that initially.
It's part of, no. And that's the point I'm trying to make. But I do think like in general, like, even though she was around long before that character, and even afterwards, there was a little bit of a split there. Like, she will now be forever tied to a character that we love,
and that we love Nikki Cross.
Listen,
I mean, there's a built-in feud there. I think there's a lot of.
I'm excited that.
Holy shit, you're here! Yeah. Holy shit, you look great!
Yeah, she looked awesome.
Oh, all the potential matches you're gonna have. Oh shit, could you win this? Oh, never mind, Charlotte Flair's here. You're out. Bye.
Yeah. We had Trish coming out in her original gear, which I thought was fun.
Yes, retired Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Trish Stratus.
I felt like she was fine. Yep. It was fun. It's a pop. That music is always going to get people popped. I don't think they handled the order of things. Like the fact that Nikki was number 30 was, I thought, a really big misstep. Was it Nia who was 29?
Yeah.
I felt like reversed those two because
they had a shitty 30 for the men's.
Oh,
meaning like the crowd goes like, I fucking hate you. So it was I think a good way to flip it.
Right.
That you had a surprise.
Sure.
And then probably a lot of people going like, oh dude, John Cena's backstage. That's going to be weird, huh?
Yeah. I almost would have rather them switch Trish's and Nikki's spot then, and had Nikki come out earlier. But I also feel like maybe Nikki didn't get quite the ovation they thought she would.
I think it was pretty solid.
You think it was pretty good?
Yeah. And also she wasn't in there all that long. So that was a good way to.
I'm just gonna say Alex Pierce has joined us in the chat, and I'm gonna shut this whole fucking thing down right now. He says,
"Want to read what he said?"
He says, "Hey Jake, how'd you like the watch along?"
I'm assuming he's meaning the champion, the first ever PWP champions watch along of Alex Pierce's choice.
I'm still fucking hot about it. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this at all.
I hope he wins again. We get back-to-back champ.
I will fucking shut this shit down so quick.
You keep saying that.
Charlotte, unpopular opinion. She lost too much weight. She's too skinny. I feel like she looks incredible.
Yeah.
But she looks far less intimidating. She lost some of her presence.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like
I thought it was lean and mean.
There's a sign in the audience that said "Bring back Thick Gunther," And that's how I felt. I'm like, that's exactly, I don't know.
Well, they both can't afford eggs right now. So
yeah,
maybe that's what it is.
I don't know, man. Like, she looks great, but I'm like, yeah, but one of the reasons why you were so dominant in the ring, like, was your appearance. She had this like fucking powerhouse appearance of this athlete. And now she looks just like she's still fit as shit. There's not an ounce of body fat on her, but I feel like she lost some of her intimidating mass where she kind of looks more like everybody else. Like, she doesn't have a super unique appearance, in my opinion, anymore.
Oh, well, she's a foot and a half taller than 75% of the women that are there. I didn't get any of that. I thought she looked great.
I felt it.
I was very intimidated.
It might just be just jarring. It might just be like first time I see her back, and like, you just get used to it. But
it was great to see her once, because I wasn't up to date on my SmackDown. And I was like, yeah, is she coming back for this? And then when she was out there, I was like, oh, this makes sense. Oh, if we're gonna do her and Ripley for a third time, I'm all for that. I think that's great.
That it makes sense to have there. It's properly a rubber match, right? Because she lost Rhea lost the first one, Charlotte lost the second one.
Yes, and it's a great fucking match.
Yeah,
it's a great fucking match.
The second,
you don't think the first one was great?
No, the first one was a dud.
No,
the empty arena Mania in 2020.
You talking about Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler?
No, I'm talking about Charlotte, and it felt like I recall that being kind of a dud.
Oh, it was one of the only good things I thought of all 9 hours of that WrestleMania.
Maybe my great memory.
You liked Edge and Orton, that just wouldn't end.
So good, the greatest greatest match of all time. Yeah, it's the fucking best match.
No,
it was right there in the title.
Still talking about WrestleMania.
I know.
So overall, I thought this was good.
It was fun, and
it's still not like I'm excited for it to get to that level,
right?
But I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, it had clunky moments. That one moment that drove me fucking mad with fucking Nia Jax knocking off the 30 women on the apron.
Oh, okay.
It was so poorly executed that it was kind of embarrassing looking. It just made all of those women look like absolute idiots.
Even the ones that are on the ground that felt like where they go, wait, were we supposed to go too?
Honestly, they've done this a million times. They did it in this. They did it in both Rumbles where a bunch of people get around someone who's big, a monster. The monster stands up and explodes. Everybody goes flying like a grenade went off.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It's silly, but it's fine, right?
It can certainly work and be fun if there's some momentum of people have been trying to eliminate this monster. They're unstoppable,
100%.
But it didn't. Have any of that momentum.
If there was even 4 women, that's it. 4 women. 3 fighting on the outside, 1 woman maybe is like teetering on the top of the right, and it was dead center, meaning like center where the aisle is, not because this was also like off to the side by the stairs, which made it so it didn't have the impact because people couldn't explode. And then Nia hits the ropes on the other side, hits all the women, and then all 4 of them kind of explode in different directions, like a little firework. I see it in my head like that's a cool spot, right? She eliminated all those people, but instead. Nobody knew what the timing was. Nobody knew when she was coming. Nobody knew where she was coming. Everybody was so close to each other. They were afraid of hitting into each other.
Sure.
And so it was just this sort of like, oh, a bunch of drunk women fell off of the ring while Nia ran around.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was such a waste of an idea. That was a bummer.
Poorly executed idea.
I did dig the final. I liked I liked how it ended. I liked how Charlotte won. Like it was a nice ending.
Yeah.
All things considered.
What did you think of the heavily influenced sports stats all throughout the Rumble?
I dug it. I feel like it could have been 50% smaller on the screen.
I thought go all the way around.
Sure.
Keep showing me the flags on the side and show me
I dug the flags.
Really?
I really liked that. Maybe it's because I'm still nostalgic for the CWC from all those years ago.
You also might still be fooled by like, they're from this country.
Wait a minute. Nia Jax, Australia? Get the fuck out of here. That don't make no sense. She didn't have an accent. I'd never heard her say crikey once.
The commentators undid one of them. I'm trying to remember which one that was.
There was a few where they got the stats wrong. We're like, oh, this is her 5th Royal Rumble. On the screen at that time, it says 4th Rumble entry.
They said something really disparaging about Natalya. Like,
oh no,
Natalya's been in every single one of these. Like, that's not an endorsement.
Right. Never won one.
Forever loser. Alex Pierce followed up with you. You had said that you're really hot. So he replied, but you're wearing a hoodie.
I don't appreciate that kind of humor. To be perfectly honest,
I think he's looking out for your well-being. You may get heat exhaustion.
That's you know what? There's a good chance.
Are you hydrated? Here,
drink some hand sanitizer. It's Trump's America. Who gives a fuck?
Water. Water in there, right? That's one of the ingredients.
No, I dug it. I dug all the fun stats. Again, I think it maybe was a little bit too big, or like, I don't know. It felt like it was in an odd spot, but maybe it's just because I was really close to my TV. I don't know. But I dug it.
It'll be weird on rewatches.
That's probably true.
In the live moment of it, it's pretty cool. I certainly like it for the eliminations.
Yeah,
if something's
and
going,
they put it big on the screen, and then they also write like, I liked when it says active, eliminated, and then like remaining, because that's always a fun way to be like, oh, okay, there's only 5. I don't know. I dug it. It was fun.
It's a fun pop-up video thing, but I'd almost want it as a bonus feature where I could turn it on later and then turn it off.
Right.
Which I don't think is going to happen, but
yeah,
it was certainly neat in the moment.
Yeah, I dug it. And apparently in the arena, they had it up over on like the centerpiece.
Okay.
So fans knew exactly like how many people, like,
so those people that were charged more than anything in their entire life in Indianapolis
and watch on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that the entrant is 24 and you missed it in the ring. What happened? Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Exactly that.
But that's not all. So we had the Women's Rumble.
Yes.
Which we both sounded like, we liked
it. Good. Yeah. Again, it was, I think, clunky moments, but I think there's a few in every Rumble. So it was par for the course. Although, anybody who you didn't see who you wished was in it before we move on, because I wanted to ask that question.
Oh, like were there women entrants that I wanted?
Yeah. Was there anybody that wasn't in the Women's Rumble that you were like, oh, I would have loved to have seen them?
Well, I'm so conditioned, and this Royal Rumble broke that in the best of ways, where it was, as we were talking about, the legend spots,
right,
or the surprise spots in that way. And I'm glad we're out of that right now, because it's about actual contenders and not, hey, remember this person?
Right.
Because in this regime, we're building more stars.
Yeah.
So I don't miss anybody in that sense. Am I going to be upset that Rosemary from TNA is going to show up?
Right.
I got no problem with that.
So honestly, for me, it was all like, oh, well, who is with TNA or works for, or like, and I thought to myself, like, I'd love to see Rosemary in a Rumble. I'd love to see Gail Kim come back for one. I know she's semi-retired as well.
She's been retired a couple of times, I believe.
Yeah, but that means that she'll come back for, like, I thought there
come back and take an 8-foot bump.
There were there were a few people who I was like, oh, I would, and honestly, I think those were the big two that I was like, oh, I would have loved to have seen them.
Sure.
But other than that, I didn't feel like anybody was glaring. I mean, Nikki Cross would have been nice, but I guess whatever that story they're telling with the White Six right now still is like.
Well, it's funny with Mickie James in the crowd.
Mickie James was in the crowd. I didn't.
Yeah, when they did like, hey, we got some legends sitting here for 2 minutes, then we're gonna shove them to the back. Like, she's here. She's gonna sit here. She didn't bring her gear. So she's not competing, but they showed her after the Rumble, so at least the expectation wasn't like
she
there.
might pop up. Yeah.
And they didn't do that, thankfully, in either Rumble.
Got up. Like, no commentators got up.
Yeah.
No, the guy ringing the fucking ring bell. Yeah.
So next up was the 2 out of 3 falls tag team. So the SmackDown Tag Team
World
Championship.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. I love those belts. I'm so glad they bought
do?
them. Yeah, those are cool looking. What did I say?
You get some replicas?
I could buy shit. I'm not gonna spend money on this garbage. I'm 42 years old.
I figured that's when you would buy it, because you're having a midlife crisis. 84 tops.
84 tops?
Yeah.
Like the 84 playing cards?
That's your age.
Oh, got it. Wow, that's really gracious. Thank you.
Tops.
That's really
tops.
That's really
That's a lot of machines working on you.
Yeah, tag title match 2 out of 3.
DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns.
You know I love DIY very much.
Sure.
I don't think they work as a heel tag team.
They're heels?
Yeah.
No.
That proves my point. Yeah.
Where were the heels?
Because the Machine Guns are baby faces and they're doing low blows and they're cheating and they're.
Were they both baby faces?
What?
Why weren't they both baby faces? Like, nothing about either team read as heels. Chat, help me out, because I haven't been watching SmackDown.
I mean, this whole thing started.
Was DIY heels during this?
Yes. Oh, I mean, they literally cheated to win the match.
They both were. This match was like a bunch of kids that were strung out on sugar and playing incoherently while telling their mom to look at them. and going like, yeah, and then I've got a gun and bang, shoot you, and then you die. And the other one's going like, yeah, then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm fucking rockstar kick, wow. And then the parents like, you okay? You done playing right now? Like, yeah. You want to go in the car? You gonna throw up? I don't think so.
I feel like this is a really good look into what you were like as a child just now.
That's what watching this match was. The three of us were watching, and KG going, I don't know what just happened. I was looking at the screen. One falls over? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Commentators were not following it.
No, I like all these guys. I love DIY. I don't think that they're good as a heel. I don't think they work as a heel team.
Wow, the chat saying they're heels. I got no sense of that whatsoever, other than Ciampa's face.
And yeah, I don't know. I just this match, it felt to me, because of the ending, it felt undefinitive. It felt like you're doing a 2 out of 3 falls match. You made such a big deal, like, oh, both of these teams have won title championships in 2 out of 3 falls match. Gargano's won a title in it. Like, this is like, these guys all specialize in these match. And then it was like, it was a perfectly fine wrestling match. They're all very talented. They're all good storytellers, but like nothing about it emphasized 2 out of 3 falls. Like you said, the first fall came immediately, and
there was no reset.
It undersold. It undersold the Machine Guns, honestly, pretty abruptly by having them lose so quickly the first fall. I don't know.
There's no story of like they got bested,
yes,
and we're resetting, and then there's a hey, we need to regroup and figure out. Like,
I completely agree. We didn't, and that it didn't. It was a bad 2 out of 3 falls match at the end of the day.
And also, I don't know if that style in a stadium. I don't know how that plays with everybody, if they're able to follow it. I don't know. It wasn't for me. I don't think it was ultimately terrible.
No, it was it was on this pay-per-view. It felt very much like what used to be you go grab
Little People Wrestling. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
I said it in the nicest way possible.
Johnny Gargano is not that short. Okay.
Yeah, he is. Is he taller than you?
I don't know.
Is that what you're defending it?
I don't know. But I think that, I don't know.
The stakes weren't high. We didn't see a video package for it. I don't know if that's a Peacock tier.
There was.
Thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we saw ads. So it was hard to just be invested in something I hadn't seen anything about. And like you said, there's no story being told really in the match other than we did all these moves, and then the Street Profits show up at the end
and beat up everybody, but still help one team.
And I'm going, great. I love the Street Profits. Are they the champs now? They're holding the titles. I'd be all about this.
And my favorite part was commentary a little bit like, I don't know what's going on. Can you please explain this? And then Cole having to be like, okay, this is what's happening on like, that's not a good sign.
That summed up the entire experience. 100%. We were all laughing hysterically because we were so confused as viewers.
Yeah.
And then to hear Barrett go like, what's going on?
Right.
And Cole having to explain it. It was the most Excalibur AEW moment.
I agree.
On WWE television I've ever seen. And that felt like, you can't do it like this again.
No.
You can, all these guys, all 6 competitors, perfectly capable of working there. Like there's nothing diminishing what they do. It just didn't feel like it fit in this night of what
honestly,
this was.
If it was just a regular tag title match, and they just let them beat the shit out of each other, like these guys all do. Like, if just put on one of those like classic old school NXT matches, even if it dips into the AEW style where it's like they're doing a little bit too much, like it would feel at least like a very distinctive style on this card, right?
Or something different for Saturday night's main event, not sandwich in the Rumble.
Sure.
Because the speed of this just wasn't going to fit anything in the tone.
Yeah, and also just like you said, the crowd. I called that in the Discord beforehand. I was like, oh, this is going to be these guys are going to put in a ton of work, and the audience is not going to give 2 shits about this. I said that before the match even started, and then by the second fall, people were just like not even paying attention to it. So.
And maybe that did serve its purpose overall, because everything can't be the fucking best thing ever.
Right?
I don't know. That's more my philosophy on it, but it was there.
Right.
It gave me a chance to decompress and get more snacks.
And then we had our undisputed in quotes WWE Championship match, ladder match.
Yeah,
Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, 2 of the best I think working right now. And I don't know how you thought. This did not fucking disappoint. I fucking loved this match. God damn, this might be one of the best ladder matches like in recent memory, if not even a little bit more than recent memory.
Oh, I certainly liked it. There's a fair amount of ladder logic moments where I was like,
and again,
what's
like
happening here?
commentary, almost like there is a tipping point. You and I have talked about this where I've always said, like, if a commentator doesn't know something, I'd rather them just say, like, I don't know who this is, and then have another commentator fill them in. And you were like, well, no, like, that's underselling. And I feel like there's a
Barrett can certainly go, what the fuck is going on in this tag match?
There's a middle ground.
Yes.
Right? And there were a few moments in this match where I was just like, you've tipped too far into me agreeing with you, which is like, stop saying, just put the ladder in the ring and go get the title, because you're just reminding us that is ultimately all they have to do. And then that makes makes Cole or whoever have to go like, it's not about that. It's about inflicting punishment. It's about blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you had that conversation too many times.
And this was one where I was kind of hoping the amount of ladders would go down.
And
the simplicity of it,
I
because
felt
we
like
got
it,
up to 3.
but I felt like it did. I don't think they intended on the first one breaking.
They still used it. They still, that was,
right.
I'm like, that fucking dirty ref is cheating. He's going in and holding the ladder for Cody because he's like, this shit's not steady.
But also the final moment, like, I was screaming at Cody, being like, take the whole thing. Don't take each belt individually. Remember when Orton won those and he just unclips the carabiner and just grabs the gold bar and holds the whole hanging thing? It was a great clean boom off. It took him 14 seconds in total to get both those titles down, and that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very long time for him to go.
Because if you're unclipping and doing that for a while, then the crowd starts to go, oh, okay, so who's gonna,
and that's the problem, is that we knew Sammy was out there. And to me, it felt like he was waiting for Sammy to interrupt him.
And then the ref dashes in.
I know. I'm like, oh shit, the ref's going to do it.
Yeah. And then Sammy's going to kick that guy? What's going to happen?
Honestly, the timing, I was like, just grab the fucking belts, Cody. Grab the thing. Just
editing will fix all that. No problem.
It'll be great in the replays. But I mean, that honestly, I'm nitpicking from what was ultimately a fucking amazing.
And I am
match.
too, with the amount of ladders and a little ladder logic. Like,
yeah,
those two were fucking great.
And Kevin Owens, like, wrestling just the best heel wrestling match we've seen in a while. Like, going to use the little ladder before things got
3.5. Right.
Yeah, before things got so serious that we can't do something funny, because he knows where his line is.
Yeah.
You can be funny, you can toy in the beginning because things haven't gotten to that next level yet. Toying with the audience in a way that got everybody to go like, oh, fuck you. Like, it's so brilliant. He's such a fucking brilliant wrestler.
And one of the gnarliest end bumps that I've ever seen.
I mean, it's kind of like, has anybody ever done an Alabama Slamma? Is that what that's called? Alabama Slamma?
Yeah.
Onto a ladder before?
Not that I'm aware of.
It was so surprising. And then the way that the bump happened and the way that it fell and his head just happened to go through that rung, and he's just
lying on his neck and just there. A heap, just a crash test dummy heap.
Yeah.
I thought he might be saying, hey, take a photo of this, send it to my wife, and show her how flexible I really am. Because I didn't know.
Honestly,
it looked ugly. It looked really ugly. It looked real and ugly,
right,
and terrifying, which in the small interactions of people we were dealing with, there was a lot of, is he okay?
Right.
Is he not okay?
Yeah.
Because his eye was swollen. He had more cuts on his head. It was gnarly. And it made you question the reality of it all. Mm-hmm. I think the other part that plays oddly in the moment is Cody celebrating. You go like, yeah, I won. Dude, I think he might be fucking dead, or his neck is broken. Calm down with the celebration.
Well, I think that's actually great story that they told, because the whole point of it was that, like, you're losing it. You don't have the killer instinct, and CM Punk establishing like, this is getting to you. And you know, that we didn't talk about it because we don't recap every episode of fucking TV, but that promo or segment, whatever you want to call it, with Punk and Rhodes, where he talks about, like, I was you, I could see what's happening to you, the schedule, and the way that Rhodes sold that was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, like, he's not wearing his suit, you know what I mean? Like he looks more disheveled. He's kind of like falling from his pillar of being and I thought it was great. I thought it was great storytelling, especially, even though it fucking annoyed me, the cameras were too wide in my opinion, for the majority of the posts.
Oh, first Charlotte's too thin. Now the cameras are too wide. What the fuck?
For the post-match moments, they were too wide and we saw too much. If it was just like stayed really tight on Kevin Owens and Sammy, and then out of nowhere from behind, you saw Rhodes get up on the desk.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we saw the entire scene where we saw one of the producers or the ref go, "Hey, you got to go do the spot," and then he goes, "Oh, okay, let me walk over there." And then we saw him walk over and get set up for it. It kind of ruined the magic of that moment.
Yeah.
But that final shot, if we exclude the fact that they showed us behind the curtain in a way that was kind of poorly produced.
The refs are sometimes bad at that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got to point to the side. Hey, you got to be over here. You got to do this thing. Like,
but even that shot,
I'll get there.
When he goes, "Hey, Sammy," and then Sammy turns and looks up at him, and then he says something, and we don't know. I couldn't make it out. We couldn't figure it out in the Discord. We were trying to figure out, and then it's like end of shot, or he walks off. I'm like, oh, that right there. I want to find out what you said to him, and
probably sandwich order.
Hey, Sammy, don't forget the extra barbecue sauce
on a sandwich. Good Lord.
But honestly, the match was fucking great, and it was scary and exciting, and they did things with the ladders that felt innovative, even though maybe we've seen them before, because they weren't like, we need to figure out a way to do something that's absurd with this ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it was just, this very specific sequence that gets us into this bump. That, whatever that spot is that Kevin Owens always does, where it's like that vertical brainbuster package where he turns around from the top ropes. That spot, the way that Cody hits the ladder and then stands and sells, like it was really fucking exciting. It was again, probably one of the better ladder matches of recent memory, especially because it didn't feel bogged down. It felt like, this is a fight.
I liked it quite a bit. I didn't like it as much as you,
no,
but I certainly did like it. The ending was gnarly, and another definitive Cody and Kevin are done.
Yeah.
So who's facing Cody? Was the exciting, all right, well, we're going into the men's rumble now,
right.
And we have minimum like 10 legitimate contenders.
A third of the contenders could all be winners.
All make sense. Fight either champion, and then people on top of that where you go, I guess they could just pull the trigger on somebody else.
Right.
And we get even crazier with this. And this was, I think, a fucking great rumble, because of it is now, this was unique. We were talking when watching it that this was the first year of Triple H. There were no preset stories in place. There was no,
they didn't know last year what this Mania was going to have to be.
Right. And Vince was still involved with some of it, and there's things in place. It's like, all right, let's follow what we got. Let's not just dismantle it and do something crazy. Let's keep following the Cody and Roman thing. Now it's, hey, we have to make our own stories now. We don't have a set structure of we're going to follow these things. So it was unpredictable. We didn't rely on surprise legends for this.
Nope.
It was all about any of these people could be legit contenders to win the Royal Rumble.
Right.
I guess except for one, which was the only kind of weird spot of it, but we'll get there.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure.
And we start strong.
I love starting with Rey and Penta. That was fucking cool.
Because Penta's kind of a hot mess.
They need to stop letting him. They need to stop letting him talk.
Well, there's that, certainly.
He sounds like Mickey Mouse. I kind of hear Mickey Mouse when he speaks.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think it's very gravelly and not Mickey. What kind of Mickey Mouse cartoons you watch?
It's kind of high pitched.
What?
Penta's like got kind of like a high pitched, like, I don't know. It's like he's got like a froggy high pitched thing.
I'm trying to think what Disney character I think.
When I think of Mickey, I think of like the boys. Like it's in his throat. He's got like a frog in his throat.
No, that's Kermit.
Kermit the Frog here. Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Yeah, that's Ray Phoenix.
Oh, fuck. Got it.
But a great way to do it, because if Penta being the hot mess he is, sometimes like, yeah, he's fine. And then other times we botched like 4 things in a row.
Right. Yeah.
Let's try it out here at the Rumble and see what goes on. Maybe people will want to see this, and inevitably you got to turn Penta heel because he just looks fucking evil and gnarly.
Looks like a bad guy.
So
yeah. Although they do want to sell those masks.
Sure.
Which they might still sell.
They'll sell just fine. But the initial run, they're a good guy. You're
Right.
selling all the stuff. Let's get a gauge for this, rather than every monster moment of like, hey, everyone stops in the Rumble, and then 2 people turn around and look at each other and go,
Right.
what if we fought each other? 6 people hit them. Like,
Yeah.
all right.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
still doing that spot as well.
Yep.
But yes, started out with that, and then
Penta gets eliminated immediately, and we all pretended we didn't see it.
right.
In the chat,
He's new. He doesn't know the rules.
in the chat, people were like, "Did his feet really hit? Did his feet really hit?" And my first thought was like, if we don't see a replay, his feet hit. Because if he did actually come close, they're gonna love that.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, this is drama. Like, let's show that replay. No replay whatsoever. Both of his feet hit as clear as day.
Yeah,
they couldn't even find an angle to fudge it.
I think you could still end up running, maybe if you had a Corey Graves there. I think Barrett could have done it with like,
he was
the refs didn't see it.
Yeah.
Like, he is eliminated.
Yeah,
they
this
need
is a
to
travesty.
Look at this footage right now and get him out of there. What if he wins?
Right, yeah.
You know.
But yeah, he got eliminated.
But he's a good guy. It doesn't work that well for him.
Right.
If it was maybe a Chad Gable or someone that's bad,
right,
that'd be a better story to tell.
Chelsea Green, in the women's,
goddamn, Otis got a huge reaction.
People fucking still love that guy. His star never stopped shining. They just stopped fucking glossing it up. You know what I mean? Like, they stopped putting him in a position where he felt like a star, but he was great. And he's he's an insane athlete. The things he does are insane.
Yeah. That I still feel bad for him with that caterpillar, because it's never a smooth transition of like, he does it, that part's fine, and then I'm gonna get up and do the elbow.
Right.
Like, that part's not okay, because then when he has to do the reunion shows
right.
and all that later in life, it's
30 years from now, he's gonna be like, "Why did I do this to myself?"
kill that move, man. Don't do it anymore.
Where's Trucker at?
He got an insane reaction. Braun Breaker, I can't get enough.
Yeah, you're a really Breaker fan.
Oh my god, he's so fucking exciting and explosive.
No, yeah.
And we got to see that when Akira Tozawa comes out and has the least hit points of anyone on the planet.
Well, it's because it's not just that he got hit in the back of the head. It's that when he fell, he hit his head on the ground.
Sure.
That
he
hurts.
has 2 hit points.
That hurts. No, but each one, that's not how hit points work. It's not 1 for 1.
For him, it is.
Great.
I at least appreciated the logic of this compared to years previously of Akira Tozawa gets hit from behind from, who was it? Was it an eliminated somebody, or I'm trying to remember? Maybe
Carmelo Hayes?
Maybe someone in the chat can help remind us who hit Akira from behind.
Was it Carmelo Hayes, I think?
I don't recall, but he wasn't eliminated yet according to this list. So I don't know why he would have been out there. So Akira gets hit for, Mike Lucas says it was Carmelo.
There we go.
So Akira goes down, is knocked out. Officials come out and drag him off. The camera follows all this. They don't follow the Royal Rumble match.
No.
That is the name of the show that is deciding a WrestleMania contender for the championship.
We still had the information on the bottom of the screen. We were able to follow it.
They follow the plight of Akira Tozawa and what's going to happen. And then we get Triple H going like, you over there. And it's big guess of like, well, who's it going to be? And I got to always read the name. I Show Speed, YouTuber extraordinaire.
Yeah. I don't.
That he says, you go in. And he's like, what? Really? Are you sure? Because you have my graphic and music ready to go, right? Sure do, buddy. And he goes out and is shocked. And then into excitement. I thought that was played well enough. I don't like that we had all that shit ready to go.
Yeah.
But at least there was we've had Curtis Axel Mania before, where people just are knocked out and then no one shows up, or it's allowed and it's not a big deal. Even Becky Lynch, when it's like she took someone's spot, it's a little bit better when we explain these, but
I like
why not just put him in there in the first place?
Exactly. Why bury Tozawa for this spot that doesn't really help anybody versus just being like, Speed's in it.
Yeah.
Why not put it in it? Yeah. Maybe because they wanted him to be an unwilling participant. But if so, don't do the music thing.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah. It's like, they didn't thread this needle well.
Yeah, just have him be in it.
I don't like him. I don't want him on my TV. I don't care for this. I'm too old to care that he's important culturally. He's not. He's a talentless hack. And quite frankly, I don't need him to be on wrestling. But also, it was really fun watching him get that spear.
That's why Braun Breaker's even better.
I thought, but did you see how Braun Breaker was like, I gained a little bit more respect for Braun Breaker because I realized how good of an actor he was in this moment. Because he immediately regretted that and felt terrible, but did not sell that to us. Because he got up and he checked on him and he was like, "You good? Everything?" Like he made sure he was super safe before he threw him out. He took care of that kid after not taking care of him.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what he signed up for,
right? But I mean
the replay. There's a newer replay that is shown. I think it was posted on Discord.
Yeah, well, like just somebody in
the opposite angle.
Plank
is even gnarlier than what was seen. In the feed.
My reaction in the Discord was, "You gotta tuck your chin there, bud."
He could have.
Hey there, bud.
And it's still just like that's how.
Well, because he took it sideways.
It was great. I loved it. I love it when civilians get knocked around like that.
I know you do.
Because that's how it's supposed to be.
And it didn't take away. Like, did he eliminate somebody? I think
I show speed.
Yeah, I think he eliminated one person, right?
No,
he didn't get an elimination immediately.
No, I don't believe so.
I could have sworn he came in and eliminated somebody. And everyone was like, "Oh my god, I show speed eliminated." Blah blah blah.
I guess technically he eliminated Akira Tozawa.
Okay, never mind that. But
Otis? Did he eliminate Otis?
I don't know. It's not on there. If only we had the technology.
I have a list of. It's a very confusing laid out thing. He helped Braun throw out.
Here, I'll just pull up the little what do you call it? Sheet. The
holy sheet.
The Wikipedia that they always do a pretty good job of updating here. Oh, you know what? I forget that I have the technology. We could just do this. We have the technology. There we go. Let's see here. Where is our results? If I just go to eliminated by sort. Oh wait, that's the women's. And what's his name?
I show speed. It's the one that you'll go. What is that?
Okay, yeah, he did not eliminate anybody. There's nobody that's eliminated.
So maybe he helped someone.
Right, maybe.
Like he grabbed.
Oh yeah, there it is. Braun Breaker. So Otis, you're right. Yeah, he gets credited. Him and Braun Breaker get credited for eliminating Otis.
Okay. So that happens. It was great for Braun. Wonderful moment. The lesser Uso shows up and it's like, oh, that's sad. People aren't that into you.
I will say this about the I Show Speed thing. First 10 competitors. We got it in. We got it out of the way. It wasn't like, who's number 27? I Show Speed. So I'm going to give them credit for getting it early.
That's fine.
Getting everybody the joys.
Business really picked up when
I just noticed the chat while I was asking who and pulling this up. They're all just screaming. He helped Braun throw out Otis. He helped Braun throw out Otis. Alex Pierce goes, Jake, look at the chat, Jake.
Jacob Fatu comes out. Force of nature.
This dude has such star power. Like he is just. There's a mythos to him. That's just
and
really
an arrest
good.
record.
Well, there you go.
It's undeniable with this guy.
Right.
Saturday night's main event was pretty great with him and Braun. That it was the sort of Bronson Reed thing at the end of just he's going off the rails,
right?
And he's just trying to hurt him, and he's out of control. He's fucking outstanding. And another big point that I know people were very excited about because I guess they believed Joe Hendry, TNA champion, comes out, and then there's also a mention of Nick Nemeth.
Oh, really? And I didn't catch it. Oh, because he beat him for the title,
right? But we were so curious,
Dolph, right?
Like, is Dolph going to come out? But would he be Dolph? Would he be Nick Nemeth? They mentioned Nick Nemeth. So
interesting.
Joe Hendry was there.
I thoroughly enjoyed Sheamus when Joe Hendry came out.
What happened?
Sheamus did not engage at all. When Joe Hendry came in, it was a bunch of other people. And the entire time, Sheamus is leaning in the corner of the turnbuckle, in the back right, the far right corner of it. And he's just like, just like taking him in.
Okay.
And then when people were like doing his chant, Sheamus was like, and just like being like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I can't remember who it was, whoever stopped him. Was it Braun? Somebody interrupted him.
Jake is the chat's gonna go crazy.
Yeah. Somebody interrupted him. And then Sheamus walks up and whoever that is turns around and goes, hey, I was enjoying that. And I just was like, fucking love that. I don't know why Sheamus really.
I wish I was more Sheamus.
There was a. Okay, well, wait. Let's touch on that first before I go back. I'll go back to what I was just going to say because it's unrelated.
I don't
So you
get
didn't
it.
like you don't believe in Joe Hendry.
I still don't.
Okay.
I'm not against Joe Hendry, but I'm not.
It was Fet too in the chat, by the way.
It doesn't do anything for
No?
me.
I
I see it and I go, yeah, I get the song's clever.
Yeah, I think he's right now. He's a fun personality. I haven't seen like the staying power of him wrestling enough to go like, what is it beyond this? What's it beyond this is right now. Unfortunately, he's Bobby Roode with the Glorious theme song right now. It's kind of that.
I also look at it as, look, TNA has fucked up all these characters forever.
Right.
Grado, like they get the fun,
right,
internet loved person, and I usually think they're better in some degrees, like Rockstar Spud.
Sure.
And they ultimately drop the ball with these people, and I go, yeah, I've been burned, so I'm not into it. I also don't think he has what those other guys had. But if people like him, hey, that's fine. He was in there, and
who knows?
Their world champion got fucking annihilated immediately.
Right.
So
not immediately, but pretty quick.
That's pretty big.
He got he got some moments.
Did he?
Yeah.
His song played, and then what is it, Roman that fucking destroys him?
I think so.
And goes like, there you go.
Right.
Out.
Thanks for coming.
Out with you.
This is just a weird, stupid little thing. And I know that I get very fixated on gear. It's because I think presentation is important.
And you love AEW Full Gear.
For some reason, I don't think I've ever seen this before outside of somebody wearing a t-shirt that you can buy in the shop.
Yes.
Sheamus had the WWE logo on his tights.
Well, you're looking at Sheamus left and right.
How can you not? Look at that fucking dude. But like on his tights, there's like a black kind of waistband.
Okay.
And right above his junk, it had the WWE logo. And I just thought, like, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Maybe you rented them.
Oh, no.
Maybe it's like you go to a fancy place and like, sir, you have to wear a tie and a jacket. And they're like, oh, well, do you have one? Go, oh, fine. Here you go. But you got to give it back. Maybe that's what his trunks were.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really strange to me. And I don't know why it was strange. Maybe it's because I just don't think I've ever seen it before. Let's see if I can.
Maybe he didn't want to be confused with a TNA wrestler.
Right. He thought this was that old Survivor Series where it was like Team Raw, or Team WWE, Team NXT.
He didn't want none of that.
Of course, I can't find a picture of him from yesterday, but
another crazy highlight of this was the return of AJ Styles.
That was a pop.
Yeah, that was pop and a half. Very excited that he was coming back because we were all speculating, going like, wait, where's he been? He's been hurt. Oh, when are we gonna see him again? Well, he showed up.
Yeah,
he was there.
Do you see his little WWE logo above his little penis circle?
A little penis circle.
I don't know why, but this was just really. Maybe it was because it was right above his junk that it was like very emphasized.
Well, it says. Woo.
Also, I'm on like a French website now somehow. This is where I found this photo.
It says woo. Maybe it says what? Maybe want some wooing.
Although it's technically two W's, so it's woo.
Wooings.
Yeah, I thought that was a very strange thing that I've never seen before.
Well, and now you have, so it's old.
AJ
Styles was back. His hair was better than ever.
Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
My
baby.
God. John Cena showed up. That was
all right. Yeah, this annoyed the shit out of me. John Cena comes in.
Yeah.
And at that point, who is it Punk and Roman who are already in there staring at him?
No, Punk shows up afterwards.
Okay, so that's who they're all waiting on.
So the person before this was Braun. Person before that was AJ. Person before that was Jay Uso.
Okay. So in any case, when Roman hits the ring, he just stands there and everybody stops fighting. And there's three people.
No, because Roman came out way earlier.
Okay. Well,
he eliminated Joe Hendry and stuff happened.
Okay. But yeah, Roman came out earlier. Yeah. But
yeah.
All right. I'm forgetting the order. At some point towards the end of it, there are just three main big players standing in the ring, staring at each other. And three people who are also talents, including AJ Styles and some others, just kind of on the outside doing nothing. They stand there for so long that the countdown begins again and nothing has happened. Do you remember who that was?
Well, I do recall that it was Cena, Punk, Rollins, and Roman all looking at each other.
Okay, got it. So it must have been Cena,
Punk, and Roman, and then Rollins comes out.
Yes. And so when Cena comes out, Punk and Roman stop fighting and wait for Cena to arrive.
And Cena doesn't do a crazy run to the ring, so he kills a fair amount of time.
Sure.
Showing off the towel.
Yeah. He gets to the ring.
Mhm.
They all stare at each other. Nothing happens. And then...
I would argue that many things happened.
Like what?
The crazy anticipation of, holy shit, all these dudes are in the ring. Any of these dudes could win the Rumble.
Sure.
And they're all staring each other down, and the crowd's losing their minds.
Oh, see, I didn't pick up on any of that fun energy. I picked up on...
Because you're like, Joe Hendry!
No, I'm sitting there just wondering, like, there's 3 people. I don't know. I felt like in that moment, if you want to save it so we don't want these people to fight yet, you've got people that are still in the match. Have those people all engage one of them, right? Everybody gets a man on a man.
Mm-hmm.
Have them start beating, fighting, whatever, and then have each one of those 3 get beaten down so that the 3 heroes, our principals, re-meet in the middle, right? Just in time for, is it Rollins, the next guy's music? Yeah.
I loved it.
See, that part bothered me so much. I felt like they were just waiting, and I'm like, you're in the Royal Rumble, goddammit.
Yeah, but
eliminate. People are laying around. Do you want this or not?
This felt epic. This felt, we're establishing something really big here, which ended up paying off later. That this was grandiose. And I think what was a nice palate cleanser after all of that was Dominic Mysterio coming out.
Whoever booked that order was fucking genius.
It wasn't Pat Patterson.
No. Dominic is so good. The second he came out and he had that shit-eating grin on his face and he was getting booed out of the building, wrestling boos, by the way, not boos that came elsewhere. I was so happy. I was brought so much joy.
Just a sleazeball.
I think Dominic might be one of my favorite wrestlers. Right? Like he has found a gear of heel wrestler that very few people find.
Well, yeah, because everybody wants to be cool.
It's so good,
and he doesn't.
And it's just great. And the fact that
another one who has that,
yeah,
and I was also another standout to me, just week to week to week, and in the Rumble, his presence was great. Ludwig Kaiser.
I love Ludwig.
It's
Kaiser.
the same. Like
I love him. Yeah,
that motherfucker does not want to be cool.
No,
he doesn't want that NWO National Hall, any part of that. He is out there to ruin your night.
Right. Yes. 100%.
As an audience member and as the good guy wrestler, like he is just a fucking wet blanket.
When Imperium started in NXT, the other dude, the Italian guy who they've given
Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah, they've given him so many names I can't keep up.
I think it's the same name.
He was great in the CWC and great in the cruiserweight division when they had that, but he was one of those guys who's a great in-ring wrestler, but there's no character. He is nothing. He is just vanilla who can wrestle. And Kaiser, or whatever his name was at the other time, because he also had a better name, even though I can't remember it. Maybe it wasn't that good.
Giovanni Ribisi.
There we go. Big Scientologists, all of them. He always had such a presence, such an it factor. And I'm so glad that he is getting a little bit of that, like, this is who you are. This is what you could be. I think that if handled correctly, like there's a little bit of a future William Regal in there. Like as far as like can be a comedy heel, can be a serious heel, can be a fan favorite. Like
I don't know if he's got the comedy chops. I haven't seen that out of him.
Marcel Bartel. Thank you very much, Alex Pierce. That was his name previously.
Were you saying God bless you in some foreign language to Alex Pierce?
I was Italian. You know I'm very Italian.
Oh, Marcel Bartel.
Yeah. Mike Lucas in the chat says Dominic is what Vince wanted Austin Theory to be. That is a fucking great point, Mike Lucas. I completely agree.
In what way? Just
like he wanted, but people didn't engage with Austin Theory. They felt like there was nothing there to grab on. Like he was pushed as this like smarmy heel that everybody's going to hate, and people were more apathetic than they were angry at him.
I don't look at the two characters as being the same if it's just the spot of like, yeah, we want this next heel.
Yeah, I think
because
it's more the
Dominic
position,
is a slithery snake that's taking advantage and cheating and doing that all the time.
Wasn't that what
Austin Theory is this Adonis?
But didn't they try to make him the slithery snake? He was sort of like, cheaty. He was the classic like cheaty kind of get away with it heel.
Yeah, but he was still the Adonis guy. It's not the same mold of guy. That's how I perceive it. But I'm no Marcel Barthel. And then we had a couple more competitors coming out, ending with Logan Paul being the final. Gent to be in the men's Royal Rumble.
Uh,
And I know you're rooting for him. I know you're wearing that Logan Paul t-shirt underneath that shirt.
Fucking can't stand this dude on TV. But I will say that like there was a moment there where it really seems like Logan Paul might win this thing, and it was it felt like election night all over again.
I mean,
like it was
you're jumping the gun here, and like what happened, because we had the crazy elimination of Braun Strowman eliminating Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
that set the third act in motion.
Right.
Of, oh shit, now what's going to happen? Who's actually going to take this?
Right. Well, because it made it feel, at that point, it was like everybody in the ring could win.
Right.
Even though I didn't think Braun was really, but yes, I get it.
But Fatu then made things even more unpredictable and crazy because he loses it.
Yeah.
In the way that is, you buy it, and he fucking clears off that desk with zero regard of, these people have to work for the next 20, 30 minutes.
I also love the fact that he threw the chair and somehow got it in between the canvas and the lower rope. Like, that's talent.
But all notes, monitors totally gone, wiped out. And it felt like, oh, you fucked the commentators. So that's the show. But that comes into play later.
Hi, buddy.
But he did it in such a way that many other performers would showcase that.
Right.
Oh, the table's going to be a thing later.
Right.
On. Jacob Fatu just looks like
he's angry. He got
fuck
angry.
The show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got LA Knight, we got Rollins, we got Punk, we got Cena, we got Roman, AJ.
It was very star-studded. Like, it was a legit. They beat that horse to death, but they weren't wrong. Like, this was one of the most star-studded Royal Rumbles of all time.
But to the credit of Triple H, he's booked it so that we have all these stars and who's going to win, and a constant doubt, and that guy's going to win. Oh no, maybe not. He's not going to win. So
I was a little bummed that Sammy got eliminated so early, because I thought that, even though I didn't think they were going to book him to win, I thought that because of the stories they've been telling and how closely associated with the title pictures, both of them really, he's been for so long, I felt like, having him there in the end, like, it plants seeds and would have, but I think maybe the problem is
Kevin
Punk
was out.
And I also think, maybe the problem is that Punk kind of fills that spot, and they were like, well, we don't want, I don't know. I feel like they kind of occupy the same space.
Sammy doesn't have the same fire that, he did a year ago.
Sure.
And you got to play up the other people, and
sure.
Stuff with Owens. If he's not around, it's not there. We get this amazing moment between it's Roman and Seth, of the puffed out hair and this camera shot going back and forth, the focus between the two of them. And then they're going at it. And thankfully, for a guy that doesn't like Seth Rollins, this felt exciting and new, even though I know I've watched them wrestle way too many times to count. But this iteration of them, and it felt special and unique. And they're trying to eliminate each other. And then Punk comes in and dumps them both. And the next biggest, oh shit, so both these guys are out. Now what? That was, we could have done Cody and Roman 3. We could have done Seth and okay, all that shit's different now. So they're out, and Punk is fucking lapping it up.
And that was the moment where I was like, Punk's winning this. In my opinion, I was like, that's it. Because at first I was like, John Cena, they don't need him to win the Rumble to do his reunion tour. He could just do what he wants, right? They could book him in anything.
It's so fast, and how do you go from there?
And so I was just like, while I wouldn't have been surprised if Cena won, because they want to give him all the records, and now he's tied for the most Rumbles had he won it, that kind of stuff. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised. I didn't expect it. But I did think maybe they're pulling the trigger on Punk. And in that moment, I was like, Punk's winning it. It's got to be Punk. It's got to be Punk.
I go against that phrase. I think it's used to death.
What?
I would have been surprised if Cena won, even though there is expectation. Every single person would have surprised me winning, because,
and I guess that's the sign that
because the landscape of
that's
everyone's a contender, and holy shit, so who's it gonna be?
Right.
And then Punk is then dumped by Logan Paul in a nasty way.
Yeah.
And that plays into what Punk had said on SmackDown to Kevin Owens when he's throwing shots at him and saying, you know what else I've never done? I've never lost to Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And that rings, and I go like, oh, fuck. They planted that seed, and That's there now. So now Punk is out. Holy shit, things are getting crazier.
And the way that Roman starts screaming at Punk, like, this is all your fault. Like,
yes.
Oh God, that moment was so good. And then arguably the most terrifying looking stomp I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I think it was a very good camera
From Rollins
angle.
to Roman on the outside on the floor.
I don't think that it was as bad as it looked. I think
I
that
agree.
his hair and the camera angle made it look like he put 2 feet with all of his weight on the back of this poor man's skull.
Yeah, I'm assuming Rollins is so good at it that he's sliding off before we even know it.
But man, that looked brutal.
Yes.
But I will say this was an emotional roller coaster because the second Punk dumps Roman and Rollins, I go Punk's winning it. And then the second fucking Logan dumps Punk, my heart leaves my body and I realize I don't think I want to watch wrestling for the next 3 months. Because I legit in that moment I thought, like, fuck, they're giving it. They're gonna go ahead with the big fucking YouTube star. Like, in that moment there was not a doubt in my mind that they were gonna have Logan Paul win the fucking Royal Rumble in that moment.
So I switched,
and I just immediately had a pit in my stomach of just like, I fucking hate the world we live in.
My immediate thought was, and I went back and forth on it a lot. I did not stick through. If I bought a ticket to bed, I would turn it up and re-glued it together 16 times.
Sure.
I went, holy shit. They're going with the hottest guy who's selling the most merch. They're listening to the crowd. Jey Uso's going to win this thing.
Right.
And then moments later, Ithamar goes, oh God, but what if Logan Paul wins? I go, oh shit, you're right. What if he does win? But that I'm going, wow, they're really going with the hot new guy. And yeah, it was the whole execution at the end. We have Punk and Rollins and Roman all fighting on the outside. Heyman's getting involved, being yelled at. There's just chaos.
Yeah.
And, you know, we get moments in the Rumble, like we had this McIntyre and Damian Priest.
Right.
Like, you eliminated me? Ooh, I think I might want to fight you in a couple of months. Like, no, not them.
Yeah.
But this felt like, I don't know what this is going to turn into. Do we have a triple threat? What is this going to be? They're all fucking pissed off at each other. So leading to great questions, for the future. And yes, we get down to 3 with Cena, Logan Paul, and Jey Uso, which just feels fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then we get Logan Paul out of there.
Thank God. That was when, like, it was such a roller coaster, but not. Oh, I would argue, like, we on the pre-show we've talked a lot about movies and about the feeling I have about horror movies that are like kind of anxiety inducing versus like fun, like comedies and stuff like that. And like there is a tipping point where it's like, oh, this is a roller coaster, but not in a fun way, like in a legitimately unenjoyable way. And it was that for me, where like the catharsis of Paul being dumped over the ropes was very, very enjoyable, but then reminded me that that I'm on this journey to begin with, and I was bothered by that.
See,
but it was still very much
was,
like,
I guess Gunther would just beat the fuck out of him at Mania. That's cool.
I mean, or they would let him beat the fuck out of Gunther. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's not a thing.
I don't know.
I don't know. Gunther's hands hitting.
Right. I know.
Logan Paul's not going to hurt Gunther.
Yeah. But it comes down to Cena and fucking Jey Uso, fucking Superman in the main event. I mean, this
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner.
Oh shit! I didn't know Cena won that. This was exciting and it was fun, and I loved the oohs and ahs of the crowd with the teeter tottering.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and forth on the actual ending of it, and it was one of those instances where I was like, "Oh, we talked earlier about Cody getting up on the announce table so we can get that really good shot."
Yeah.
And I go back and forth. You and I talk a lot about the overproduction of WWE, and sometimes it makes for a great moment. And some, like you just said, oh, that moment with Seth and Roman with him in the foreground, like that's one of those produced moments that's like, yeah, it worked. That was great. I'm glad that happened. This is one.
The Cricket 5G finale of the Royal Rumble was not.
No, well, it was just, for me, it was that all Jimmy Uso did was go, eh.
And Cena goes, I'm not taking a bump.
Exactly. And Cena lands on his feet, and we get a great facial reaction, and that's the produced moment that we want with. But it also, like, it didn't have the feeling of the like, whoa, that big something over the top rope.
No, but I loved it for that.
Really? Okay. See, and that's why I go back and forth.
There is I recall it once before. I think it was at the Philly one. I'm not sure. Like Shawn Michaels was on the apron trying to get back in, and then like get shoved out and loses footing, and falls and has like a fuck.
Right. Yeah.
Like I fucked up, and it's over now.
Right.
And Cena had similar rainbow colors of that. Of like, like. They're trying to get back in. You can see it on TV and go, this looks a little goofy. Just get back in the ring. They're in a fucking stadium. So if you're there,
it's huge.
You have to play up that
100%.
Wait a minute. We're both on the apron. I'm going to get in. No. Fuck you. Don't get in. Boom. I'm going to get in. No, fuck you. Don't get in. And a shove and Cena losing the footing, which plays in the post-conference story and his reaction to it of like, I got bested. I got bested. Like this kid still won the match in a way. He didn't throw me out and all that, but he knocked me out. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
It's the count out victory. It's the smaller one where it's not definitively throwing him by the back of his neck, but then to come in, say some words, the crowd going nuts yeeting. Although it seemed like Jay didn't want to for a while. Jay seemed kind of like,
it's a lot. That's a lot of energy.
He's like, oh man, no,
we're doing this again.
But I thought it was excellent and unique that it was Cena stumbling out.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and it was thrill. Like I did not anticipate it, and honestly, when we said like, oh, out of these 6 at the end or whatever, it could be anybody, I still thought like Jay's at the bottom of that list. Like, not to say that, it's like he doesn't deserve it or something, but like
we've seen him lose to Gunther, and but he had the words of like, I could beat him. I know I could. I just need another shot.
Right,
and he's the chase, but it is the guy that's just so fucking over. People love him. People buying the merch. It's undeniable. I think it's a great way to go. You know what? Charlotte, we know is fine. Like that's a solid choice. We're gonna have a great match out of that, and that'll be chances are the women's main event of WrestleMania. Like that'll be the top tier match. And with Jay, hey, we can say he's a Royal Rumble winner, and Gunther can be the guy that holds on to the title for all year,
right?
And then loses it at Mania to the next guy that makes the guy, or he beats him, whatever. But he's our secondary champ, and now we still have the intrigue going into Chamber and everything else.
Right.
Well, then who's gonna fight Cody?
Yeah, and do both. I mean, I think the answer to this is yes, but for the sake of playing the game, do both Cody and Gunther have those titles in Mania? Because there is, yeah, me too. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's the story that they can tell.
Yeah, but they'll probably go contenderships over.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that either Cody or Gunther are going to be in the Chamber.
Yeah.
But maybe it's one and not the other. Maybe they mix it up. I don't know. Because it would be fun to see Gunther defended in the Chamber. Because talk about like.
Well, you got to make a contender for Cody's title. So I think that's sooner the route.
Right. Yeah. And we know that since the post show that Cena's the only person we know is going to be definitely in the Chamber. So I'm guessing that's where the other 3 come in as well.
Could
the Chamber,
be, yeah.
As far as like the Punk, Rollins and Reigns. Yeah, I don't know. All in all, it was a really fun Rumble. Anybody, same question from before, anybody that you were
It's not going to be the same years from now because people are going to go look back and go like, oh yeah, of course Jey Uso would win. Like, no.
Nope.
In this time frame,
nope.
It's totally unexpected and wild. I was surprised that Solo wasn't in it.
Same.
But he's still licking his wounds from losing the Ulafa. And
no New Day represented.
Which I think there's great story in.
Sure.
Because I think that's more for them to come out on Raw and complain about like, we weren't even in.
Right, yeah.
But I was shocked. But you don't want bad guy Kofi in the Rumble.
No.
To do that spot or anything like that. Oh, just to not leave this dangling. So when Logan Paul was almost eliminated from the Rumble, he ends up jumping on the entirely clear desk that Jacob Fatu had cleared off.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that.
And I was like, oh, Jacob Fatu, you did that so fucking good.
Yeah.
That you set this up.
I didn't even think about that.
And then again,
I was hoping he would botch so bad. I was like, oh, just fall.
These fans, you could have a Royal Rumble elimination if you grabbed his fucking foot.
Can I tell you?
I've been saying this for years about Morrison and Kofi. Like,
I am totally fine with not being allowed to go to a WWE event for the rest of my life. I would have pushed his ass off the fucking, like, if I was in that front row, I pay, how much money did I pay for these tickets?
Oh, no, you can't
I'm getting eliminated.
You got to pull a leg. You got to make sure.
100%, yes. No, 100%.
Because if you push, he's athletic. He could figure it out.
I would have fucking knocked that motherfucker off. I would have taken a few shots. I don't care. It would have been worth it. I would have been a legend.
Yeah, like, what elimination? Jake Lloyd Bacon.
There's some 12-year-old kid who could have become fucking legendary for the rest of his life, but he missed his opportunity because he didn't take a shot.
So
I was
New Day were the only ones that
I know that it was all hearsay and we don't know the real story or what's going on, but I really was like, I kind of wanted Alistair back. I was hoping that we would have got Alistair in the Rumble. In fact, I was hoping he would have been 30, and when I realized it was 29 and we hadn't seen Paul yet, I was like, damn it, because I knew he was in it, and I was like, oh, but I would have loved. I'm excited because I think it's inevitable that Alistair Black come back to the WWE. Hunter always loved him. I think that they've got a good working relationship. I think that under the current regime, they could really make a star out of Aleister Black. And I think that much like Penta, they know how to give a guy a presentation that gives them or Jacob Fatu. Like Jacob Fatu could have been brought in, and as good as he is, they still could have kind of like made it just like, yeah, he's here with everybody. But they've done an excellent job of making it special, of giving mythos, of having a push, as we all like to say.
I think he did all that.
I mean, he does again, but you can have one without the other, but you need both.
I think they add to Penta a lot and go like, look, there's whirly fireworks.
But that's kind of
we gave him a cool song.
It's kind of what I'm getting at. They could really I think they could make Alistair special. I always loved that dude, and I did not care much for the House of Black from what I saw of it. And I'm just like, yeah, I feel like it could be something good here. And so I was a little bummed that we didn't get that, because I think the internet got in my ear like, oh, he's definitely in it tonight.
No, you had the fun contract the one way where WWE fucked it up and went like, oh, we didn't put in the clause.
Right.
There's no way that when AEW signed him that they went, oh, we forgot too.
You think so?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they have
because
immediately?
Haven't we seen people already make the switch back pretty abruptly? Maybe they've.
There's the difference of like your contract ends or you're fired or your contract
non-compete
expires, that there's the 90-day non-compete.
Right.
But WWE had fucked that up on his and he didn't have it.
Oh, okay.
So if you remember that's what had happened, and he showed up immediately.
Right.
So when they hired him, there's no way they went, you know what, just leave it out in case he wants to leave.
Right.
So he's I'm sure he's got the 90-day no compete.
Well,
it was a fun Rumble. That was an excellent main event. I'm happy to watch it again. I hope you and Alexandra cover it someday on that show of yours.
Yeah, Alexandra was just talking about that yesterday, actually. Like, I'm gonna finish. Well, there you have it. I think we've gone on a little bit too long. I think we're not gonna take any hotline calls. Which means it is there's only one thing left to do, and that is
shave our legs.
From one Rumble to the next.
Oh,
it is time for the PWP Championship Battle Royal. Where's the jar? I'm gonna grab the jar.
I don't know.
We're jarless. If you don't know what this is, well, head on over to patreon.com/PW Palskis and find out. We have all eligible patrons' names in the jar. There they are. Every $5 of your patronage gets you one entry. So if you are a $10 patron, you have 2 entries in there. If you are a $20 patron, you have 4 entries in there.
Oh my God. What if they're 1,000 patron?
Math.
Oh, I don't know it. So
500?
Alex Pierce is our champion for January, and it is being defended right now. Could he repeat? Could it be someone new? Want to make sure I got it on camera so it's legit.
Uh-oh. Take your time.
I am.
This makes for great
Where's my
audio.
drum roll? All right, I got a name. And
oh shit!
The winner and new PWP champ, Mickey Bell. If only we knew where he was from.
Mickey Bell, Michael Beltran, as he's listed in the Patreon. We don't really say his name the way that he tells us to.
Yeah.
Mickey Bell, congrats in the chat. By the way, both former and new champs are in the chat.
Kiss.
Fight. Congrats,
Kiss
Mickey.
fight.
For being our February PWP champ.
The month of love.
The month of love. And we appreciate you and all of our patrons God damn it, Alex Pierce. I'm not even reading that one out.
I am.
Because it's going to become a bit.
Alex Pierce says in the chat, congratulations, Mickey. What does it say? Might I recommend an Iron Man match for your watch along?
I'm just going to say that, like, if this becomes a fun bit, then, like, you're going to get less watch alongs because I literally don't have the time. So
sure you do.
Do it all you want. But guess what? We're not doing tonight.
You say that all the time, I bet.
Scott Narver.
Guess what we're not doing tonight?
Mickey Bell, Charlotte returns and I become champion. Stars have aligned.
Oh, Mickey, don't change your face.
Lemon Cat says, acknowledge Mickey Bell. Scott
we're
Narver,
going to acknowledge all of our current Patreon Palskis.
We have to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
We have a new Patreon Palski.
Love to see it.
Welcome in and thank you, Adrian Avina, as well as AJ0314, Alex Pierce, Andrea Beeler, Gilbert Short, Mass Llama, Mexican Stallion, the PWP champ, Michael Beltran, Mike Lucas, Strong Style, Suicide, Tim Redbeard, Tom Hader, and Tony Griggs. Thank you all for your support of the show.
We would not, could not, should not do this program without you. We appreciate you all being here. You know all the stuff. Check out the shop. It's over at dragonwagonshop.com. Get yourself a fancy hat like this lovely one I'm wearing right now. You can get yourself some hoodies. You can get yourself mugs, t-shirts, all sorts of fun stuff over there. Make sure you're in the Discord, especially now with all these fun wrestling events that are live and easily accessible. They're really fun conversations, and it's just like you get to watch wrestling with all your friends, even if you're not watching it with all your friends. So Discord's really fun. So do that.
And you get to choose your own snacks. You don't have to deal with the pizza that they get.
Find us on social media as long as that still exists. We're on Blue Sky, or as I'm referring to it because of the name of this program, Blueski. We're on Blueski. Dragon Wagon Radio is on Blueski, not PW Palskis, because we're just keeping it all under the Dragon Wagon name there. So I think it's just Dragon Wagon Radio on Blueski.
I don't know.
So check that out.
I don't have it.
And anything else?
90s Wrestling Writers Room.
Oh, yeah.
You can find that on my social media at Scott Narver, not on Blueski, or at Shane Hartline, where he's the co-creator of all this. I think there's like 6 episodes out now. You got The Rock, you got Val Venus, you got comedic explanations of silly things that happen in wrestling. So if you like comedy structure, this is for you. But if you like Young Buck stuff, you may not like it.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, thanks for listening to Dragon Wagon Radio. If you're enjoying this show, check out dragonwagonshop.com and get yourself some sweet merch while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. That's dragonwagonshop.com.
It's Dragon Wagon.